Guys, it's the Mistweaver time. It's the Fistweaving time, okay? Fisty McWeavers is coming in, guys. We're testing out everything Fistweaving. We're gonna DPS all day long. We're running our good old Rising Mist. We're running our Legendary that doesn't work. Your target upon Black Kick and Rising Sun Kick heals for 120% of the damage to the nearest ally. Does not seem to work with Rising Sun Kick. So if I click my Rising Sun Kick, it will not heal the person. It will not heal the ally. It's been like that for a really long time, and Blizzard still hasn't fixed it, so I'm not sure it's gonna work out. Also, you have to keep in mind that you see the blackout kick. So if you have like 3 stacks of Teaching the Monastery for the right now, and if I use my blackout kick, only 1 heal goes off during that. You don't get a heal for every specific Teaching of the Monastery blackout kick. So I don't know if that's intended, I don't know if that's meant to be like that, I don't know if it's supposed to be, but right now that legendary seems to, for 100%, does not seem to work with Rising Sun Kick, and it's been like that for a long time. So the healing from that legendary, I don't know what's going to be like. I personally would like to see Fistweaving to come back, and I personally would like that legendary to be really strong, possibly healing more than 1 ally to make it more interesting, because just healing 1 ally, I don't know. Second of all, we have Faeline. Do you see the beautiful Faeline right now? Am I gonna pull everything here? Actually, we're gonna use Manatee, and we're gonna use Wave the Crane, which is Red Crane, and we're gonna spin to win, guys. Again, you have to remember, the biggest loss to MDI level Mistweaver in Shadowlands is the fact that Spinning Crane Kick is capped on 6 targets, 6 enemies. Are we gonna see Mistweavers in MDI because of that? I mean, it's super early to say, but you never know. So the thing is, I'm using Faeline or Night Fae Covenant ability, which you can see this ability here. If you stand in this, you have a chance, your abilities have a chance to reset the cooldown of it, which is only 30 seconds. It's going to deal damage, it's been recently buffed, and it's also going to send out like Essence Font bolts onto allies. I purely like this because it's so interactive. It's 30-second cooldown. You can reset it. That's like, I think that's super important to know, that you can reset it, and it always keeps, how do I put it? It always keeps you on your toes to see like, do I have it available? Can I hit multiple people with it? Apparently you can hit a lot of, like, it doesn't have an AoE cap on it, at least at this given point. And it does deal nature damage, so it does not work with Wave the Crane. So if you have Wave the Crane active and you use Faeline Stomp, it's not gonna proc healing for Wave the Crane. Wave the Crane only deals with physical damage. So there is no synergy in that sense, but I still think it's a relatively strong ability. Again, Wave the Crane, if you look at it right now, if I pop it, it still takes a ton of your mana back. Or it costs a ton of your mana. And it's really weird because, like I mentioned before, is that the way that it's supposed to work? It doesn't say that it has a mana cost associated with it. At least they fixed the part where it says that Wave the Crane or Red Crane, what it is called right now, is going to last for 25 seconds. So it lasts for 25 seconds instead of 15. So that's been fixed, but the mana cost has not been fixed. So that kind of makes me wonder if they really want Wave the Crane to cost mana or not cost mana. I'm not 100% sure where they're going with it. Maybe it's something that they overlooked so far. Again, I should fight on Faeline here. In terms of how beautiful it looks, it has to be like one of the best abilities visually in my eyes. Faeline Stomp, it's definitely beautiful. I'm trying to reset it. The Faeline ability is right here. I'm trying to reset it. It has 9 seconds. I'm trying to make sure that I can get to use more of this, because the AoE damage of it is really strong, and I'm also using a specific conduits to increase the damage of it. So there is a lot of emphasis onto this ability. There has been other Covenant abilities that people have been testing out, like for example, a lot of people, again I use my Faeline Stomp here, a lot of people have been, I'm going to get, again I reset it so I can use it twice, beautiful, right? A lot of people have been using Necrolord Bone Dust Brew, which has been buffed also, at least I believe it has been buffed in the latest changes that happened like yesterday or something. They have been using that for quite a few. Again, I think a lot of people have been using Necrolord and Night Fae because Weapons of War, the Kyrian ability, has been nerfed severely. And I mean nerfed, I mean it's been gutted almost. So I'm not sure what people are really looking into in terms of what's the best covenant ability for Mistweavers, but this is my Fistweaving build with Rising Mist, with Wave the Crane, with Legendary for, again, kind of, you know, damage. I'm trying to deal a lot of damage. The gameplay is, again, it's relatively similar. Unfortunately, like I mentioned, I'm using Mana Tea just because of the fact that my Wave the Crane is taking mana. But look at this, there is an interesting interaction here. There is a mana potion, or a potion that your next mana consuming spells or abilities will consume 7% of your health instead. Look at this. If I use this, and if I use my Wave the Crane, look at my mana. I completely bypass it. So I don't know if Blizzard is going to attach a mana cost to Red Crane. Again, I'm always using Red Crane or Wave the Crane in the same thing. If they're going to attach a mana cost, but if they are going to attach a mana cost, is that mana potion going to be pretty good for that? I don't know. Again, this is kind of like maybe not intentional in terms of what Blizzard is trying to achieve. We're trying to DPS here. Our Faeline Stomp has about 17-second cooldown. The gameplay, again, it's very similar. The only major difference is your Wave the Crane does not really scale with Spinning Crane Kick. So you're not going to be doing MDI level pulls. It has a 2-minute cooldown, which is, again, longer from the retail. The mana cost is probably not going to be there. I probably hope to test in the future Bone Dust Brew to really check it out, because I feel that could be very strong as well. You have to also know that, I mentioned this on a lot of videos, again, my Faeline reset. I'm going to try and hit as many targets as I can. I don't have my Wave the Crane or Red Crane available. Again, it's just really hard to... It's the reason I'm saying Red Crane and Wave the Crane all the time, because basically what happened is that Red Crane became Wave the Crane talent, and Red Crane retail ability became Yulon ability that you get baseline as a Mistweaver in Shadowlands. So there's been like a switcheroony happening that can confuse a lot of people. I don't have the Yulon ability because Wave the Crane replaces Invoke Yulon the Jade Serpent. So if you do pick Wave the Crane, you have to keep in mind that you're going to be losing an ability that usually is baseline. And that's why they've been nerfing like Jade Serpent statue, like all of a sudden the Soothing Mist replication, instead of like 23 seconds or something, it's 8 seconds right now. It's like really, really short. There's been changes because I guess they want this to be a competitive role. I have been using Expel Harm. It's not insanely powerful right now. A lot of people don't know that if you have rank 2 of Expel Harm, like look at this, if I use Soothing Mist, I can use Expel Harm on this person that I'm casting Soothing Mist on, and it's also going to heal me. So that's like a rank 2 of Expel Harm, but unfortunately it's not very strong right now. We'll have to see how it's going to work later down the line. I've been forgetting to use Expel Harm a lot. Touch of Death I've been forgetting to use as well. These are not, I mean, Touch of Death could be very interesting. Let's, like I can use it right now. I just used Touch of Death there just to kill off. It's a 3-minute cooldown. It's just awfully long. Like I mentioned before, I've talked about this for a really long time about Covenant abilities like Faeline Stomp, that 30-second cooldown. I feel that's insanely interesting and engaging in a Mythic Plus environment because I can use it, I can try and reset it, I can fight on top of the mob. Let's use our Wave the Crane. Let's do some damage here. Again, capped Spinning Crane Kick. We're trying to reset our Faeline Stomp. Again, it's very engaging. It's such a short cooldown. I love that in Mythic Plus environment. I really don't enjoy these long 3-4 minute cooldowns. Don't get me wrong. Having a Covenant ability with 3-minute cooldown that is insanely powerful, it's gonna lead to a, you know, high risk, high reward situation where you have to make sure that that 3-minute or 4-minute ability is going to do a lot of damage or a lot of healing. Which is fine in raiding situations because you're probably gonna get to use it once or twice during a raid, boss, and things like that. But in Mythic Plus, I feel like the shorter the cooldown, the more interesting it is. So that's why I really like this ability. I really like this Faeline Stomp. I really want to test out Necrolord ability next and see how that goes, because I feel like those two right now are looking pretty interesting. They're looking pretty interesting. I'm also using, like I mentioned, Conduit abilities. If you can see, they have a new screen for it. Conjure ability for revival, where Rising Sun Kick reduces the remaining cooldown revival, and revival also has a hot that's also applied. Okay guys, so this is the boss that I've not done many times. So I think it's like all you have to do is this. Okay, wait, Faeline Stomp. You kind of have to practice it. You kind of definitely have to use it before you get into melee in order to be able to fight on Faeline Stomp. Because if you fight on Faeline Stomp, like I mentioned before, so if I use it right now, oh, look how beautiful the room looks, guys. 10 out of 10. God, I hope this ability actually... Oh, I reset it again. Dudes, I hope this ability... I hope Night Fae becomes the best for Mistweavers. Because it's literally by far the most prettiest thing I've ever seen in my life. Let's go, guys. Wave the crane. Not good. Not good, because I have to keep move. I have to move, guys. Not good. Let's go. Let's go DPS. Guys, we actually used our Expel Hand. We actually used it. Let's go. Interesting boss. I mean, it can be... So let's see. Again, I got a lot of disconnects this run. I got a lot of disconnects, but I genuinely want to see. We went to the combat. I genuinely want to see what the DPS or healing breakdown is like. Or a little bit like Faeline Stomp did actually a lot of damage, because like I mentioned, I don't think it has a cap on the amount of mobs you can hit, at least for the time being. I've only used Touch of Death once, which was a terrible usage from me, so I could definitely optimize that a lot more. A lot more. Interesting to see the healing of the legendary. Again, I've DC'd a lot of times on this. I've DC'd like 20 times or something. So that's the actual legendary with around 6% of healing. And this legendary doesn't proc from Rising Sun Kick. Interesting numbers. Interesting numbers, if I'm being completely honest. Interesting numbers from this. How did I feel about Mistweaver and Fistweaving? Honestly, I really hope that this build is going to be... I really like this build, man. I really like Faeline Stomp. I think it's really interesting. I really enjoyed... Again, I really like Fistweaving. My favorite playstyle for Mistweaver is Fistweaving. And if there is going to be a legendary that's going to be buffing that, and it's going to be viable and it's going to be optimal, I'm all for that. Weigh the crane on 2 minutes. I don't think it's the worst case scenario. Is it gonna cost mana? Is it not gonna cost mana? If Faeline Stomp would actually interact with Wave the Crane, that would be really interesting. The next thing I'm going to be testing out is Bone Dust Brew from Necrolords, because I also feel that could be very interesting. But generally speaking, Fistweaving Monk is, in my eyes, is an extremely, or a very fun, monk playstyle.